gotta find that perfect seat. Is that it right there? That's it? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? Oh, there you go. Yeah, there's a lot of front row seats. You can come sit right up here in the front row if you want.
We don't bite much unless you want us to.
Oh, the only thing that bites is some of these games. Oh my goodness gracious. Once again, we have decided to have a panel and people have shown up to it. Hey guys, how y'all doing? Welcome to our panel. There is shame to our games we are ashamed to admit that we like. I'm Blake Morse. I am the reviews editor and electronic sports commentator extraordinaire for Shacknews.com. How y'all doing today? I know it's Monday, but I have to do the obligatory I can't hear you. There we go, that's what I like to hear. I have an all-star panel joining me today to reveal their deepest, darkest gaming secrets to all of you fans out there. Let's start off, let's just go down the road. Kelly, how you doing?
Hi everyone, doing good.
Kelly, you are an artist and you've worked in the video game industry for a long time.
Very long time.
Yes, and you're quite the handsome fella.
Thank you.
All right. Greg Burke, video editor for Shacknews.com.
Hello.
Yes. No, that's appropriate. You give the appropriate response for Greg.
Ooh, Greg. I'm very loud. Let's keep it a really quick interruption.
Oh my gosh. And then of course, we have our senior editor for Shacknews.com, Brittany Vincent.
Hola, Bounty Hunters! It says I'm the best editor on the program, but I like to think I'm the amazing editor, so yeah, it's not a big deal.
And then Asif Khan, CEO man with the briefcase of Shacknews.com, editor-in-chief and everything.
Yeah, I bought Shacknews.
No, louder! This guy pays my bills, so...
I employ people here.
And then my good buddy over there, Adam Rippon, a famous figure skater, also creator of Dragon Fantasy, and just a swell fella. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I feel pretty swell right now. So
yeah, you look.
Description.
You look swell. And then
I'm
last but
Engorged?
all right. And then last but not least, Dan Rambo from Choice Provisions. You just released Runner 3 very, very recently.
You did, yeah.
If you haven't bought Runner 3 yet, go out and buy that right now. Or just get on your phones, don't pay attention to this panel. Just get Runner 3. All right, well we got a lot of shame to get through here. So I think it's time we just rip the Band-Aid off, guys. Why don't we just get going? Basically, it's pretty straightforward. Games that you're ashamed to admit that you like are just games that are universally canned or just ridiculous for some reason, and you don't want your friends to know you play them. So let's see if we can bring up the PowerPoint. We can get going with this. It's going to be a heck of a panel. All right.
Nice dissolve.
So first and foremost, the one and only Brittany Vincent.
Okay.
Why are you ashamed of this?
I'm not. See, when you told me about this panel, I said I'm not ashamed of any games. So I thought maybe this is the game that when I tell people about, they're ashamed for me. You know.
Like they're embarrassed for you, like a Michael Scott scenario?
Yeah, I mean, I don't care. I love Barbie. I've always loved Barbie. But when I tell people about this game, they're like, what the hell? What? Why do you still play this? You're almost 30. Well, because you can put your name in it, Mad Lib style, and Barbie will send you a letter. It's very, very sweet. So you can explore all of Barbie's house here. You've got the bedroom, the bathroom, the patio. That's where you can hang out with Ken. But he totally doesn't act like your boyfriend. It's kind of like he's just like a little whipped. I'm not sure if Ken is into Barbie in this game. I kind of hope he's not.
Like, do you play as Barbie, or are you just like Barbie?
You're just kind of hanging out with Barbie.
Like, are you just like in her house?
You're just like a creeper in her house. You can even watch her while she's in the bathtub.
Whoa. Okay.
There's a lot of bubbles.
It's starting to get more interesting.
So you can check out the pool. You've got some pool floats, kitchen. I really like the stable because she's got this sweet-ass horse, and you can brush its hair and all that fun stuff.
Nice.
But my favorite part is basically the letter thing. So there's an early part of the game where you can fill out the whole information, like where are you from, and what do you like to eat, Mad Lib style. And later, oh, there's such a good part in the game where you get Barbie's letter to you, and it's like you're in the game. Oh my God. And I've always wanted to be Barbie's best friend, because look at me, I'm not a Barbie, but I can be Barbie's unusual friend, right?
But is it like, please get out of my house, I will buy you your favorite food, pizza?
Hell no, because we're friends. We're BFFs. Duh.
Does she know that? Does Barbie know that?
Yeah, because she lets me in her bathroom.
Oh.
Obvi. So, I think there's some, you can actually go to the garage and whatnot, and then you can change the wallpaper of the bathroom, like that changes colors. But most of all, Barbie talks to you like you're a real person, which makes me feel really special, because I need that kind of validation in my life.
Barbie, reality has always been my favorite part of the Barbie toy line, you know, it's very grounded in reality.
Yeah, definitely, because, you know, like the horses talk and smile, and, you know, her little sister Skipper is just obnoxious, and she just talks the whole time, and it's kind of cock-blocking Ken already, you know, whenever he's trying to talk to Barbie. She just sits there. Yeah, Skipper. You've never heard of Skipper? No. There's also like Teresa and all the other Barbie friends, and, well, you don't know anything about Barbies, I guess.
We got a game to play, my friend.
I know.
It also comes on a pink CD, which is important, and it's from High Tech Designs, which, you know, they did a lot, or was it High Tech Expressions? One of the two. They did a whole bunch of Game Boy games also that were very fun. But mostly I like the color scheme, and it's just adorable, and I still play it from time to time. I'm not ashamed of it. I don't know why I picked this game. Are you all ashamed of it?
It sounds a little creepier than I thought.
No, because you're making it that way.
Okay.
Why can't we be friends in a bathtub? You're not very open-minded.
All right, well, moving on, Asif. Let's talk about your game.
Okay.
You should never be ashamed of a Pac-Man game. Come on.
No, this Pac-Man game's terrible.
It is. It's bad.
And the animated
Still fun.
series, also awful. I don't know if anyone out there has ever watched Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures, but you have?
Yeah.
Like, they tried to make, like, Pac-Man with attitude.
I know,
and
it's
it's
cute.
just, is it?
It's cute.
His voice is
It's a little
awful
cringy.
in that
It's
show.
cringy.
It's cringy,
So
but it's
awful.
good.
But they took that voice acting and they put it in a video game. And then I guess part of why I'm ashamed of this is that I was playing it on that center game there, the Wii U,
Oh, yeah.
which
I
is
remember
like
the Wii U.
already kind of hated on by a lot of people. So I was just, you know, it was something that the game came out, the show came out, my nephews were like 4 and like 5, you know, so they were in that age group where they just didn't really know what good TV was. They just were like, oh, Pac-Man.
Colors,
So
bright,
they had latched on to that, and you know, we were trying to get them into gaming, and this was one of the first video games that
You sound like a little upset that they weren't watching like Game of Thrones. Like they had no good taste.
It was like,
Which has more to do
it was
with
like
Game of Thrones.
Chuggington, Thomas, and this.
Thomas
and
is
this.
lit though.
Yeah, but Chuggington
Yeah,
is,
that one
and there's
Kinda.
so it was just a lot of like really like early child TV shows. And I felt like this game was marketed to that, and it was on Wii U, which was a family-friendly console, so we didn't really introduce them to Call of Duty or Halo on like the Xbox. We just kept it up to like Nintendo, which their parents were cool with, and Pac-Man and the Ghostly Adventures was this 3D platformer built in the Pac-Man universe, which is just a bad idea, because the game is, you know, it's all about mazes and stuff, and they tried to incorporate that into the gameplay, but
Pac-Man was perfected back in the 80s.
yeah, they didn't have to break the mold for Pac-Man, and they did. And you know, like there was a Pac World earlier on I can't remember, it was like PS1 or something.
Yeah.
And that was actually decent.
That's a good one.
You know, so maybe there was hope that this was going to be good. It really wasn't. But I think why I'm most ashamed of it is like, yeah, right there. Pac-Man has a nose. That's just weird, and his voice is awful, and there's like a bully in the school, and his voice is terrible, and it's just like, it's like a caricature of like a, I don't know, an old school sitcom, you know?
Look at those eyebrows.
Steal Sonic's shoes?
He basically had,
If you watch cartoon, whatever you think Pac-Man sounds like, it's the exact opposite. So it's basically bad voice casting.
Pac-Man.
So you get an impression?
Yeah, do an impression.
Do it, do it. He's like, hey guys, let's go find some ghosts. Like,
There
it
you
sounds
go.
like Tail of the Mile.
All right, I like how his eyebrows look like cat ears.
but the actual gameplay of the game isn't that bad. So like, the level design's not terrible.
I mean, it was made for 4-year-olds that don't know what Westworld is. Like,
But I enjoyed it, and I still kind of do. I look back at it fondly, even though I think it's terrible.
You've got those precious family memories attached to it.
Exactly. I think that has a lot to do with it.
That's sweet. That's
is
a little
kinda
aw.
sweet.
Oh, come on, everyone. Aw.
I want to see Blake's preferred watching for his 4-year-old kid. It's been there for.
Oh, this is what I would show my 4-year-old kids right here. Oni-Chinbara, Samurai. I like boobs. I like zombies. I have no shame to either of those things. I will freely admit it. But it's a bad game. It's a horrible game, but it's just such a great concept.
Nope.
Like, I really want to like this game just because of how much I like movies, like the Tokyo Gore movies and stuff like that, where it's just really over-the-top violence mixed with like chainsaws coming out of girls' butts and things like that. You know? So yeah, it's just arcadey hack and slash gore, but you got a cowboy hat, a bikini, a smile, and that's about all you're wearing.
What more do you need? Like, what else would you need in life?
A killer soundtrack, and the game does have
Yeah.
an incredible soundtrack.
And you know what? I love playing dress up in games. Like, no matter what the game is, I love playing dress up.
Yeah.
And games like this really give you some really interesting and unique sort of outfit options as you go along. You know, I think it's just me. I think what it really is I just really want to be a samurai bikini zombie slayer, and this is how I live that dream, is through this game right here. Thank you.
You should be ashamed of that.
I'm not ashamed to admit that I would be a great samurai bikini zombie slayer either. So I don't know, yeah. But I feel free now that I've admitted this to a large audience of strangers. I feel so
Live your
free.
truth, Blake. Live your truth.
I'm doing my best to live my best life here. I really am.
Yeah.
I don't know what else to say, but thank you all. I'm very touched. There's a lot of weird random games like this out now. Like the Senran Kagura series is really popular.
That was actually going to be my pick.
Who just shouted?
Yes.
Creep.
Yeah.
All right, that guy's a perv. We all know it. No.
Security, please.
My favorite is Bon Appetit, where you can get covered in whipped cream and all that fun stuff.
Uh-oh, somebody didn't touch their screen enough.
Time for a break, right? Everyone take a 2-minute break.
Oh, you got a minute.
Don't tell me what to do, computer.
What?
It's not time for a break.
It's not time for a break.
It's
No.
like Lollipop Chainsaw fit into this thing.
Oh my God, Lollipop Chainsaw is a good game. I'm not ashamed to admit that I like Lollipop Chainsaw.
There was a Juliet cosplayer here.
I know.
She was good.
I think it's a good game, but it wasn't perceived well. I don't think when it came out.
I think people see boobs and they're like, oh, this must be bad.
Oh, I'm
because
so
it's like-
scared of boobies.
Yeah. And it kind of, it off-puts some people because like I think some people kind of are like into it, but they feel ashamed.
Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of, that's why we're doing this.
We should do a panel on it.
We should do a
That's
panel on
something
that.
that no one should be ashamed of. I'm really sad that people are, getting serious for a second. That's a stereotype we should all be working to break. Sex is nothing to be ashamed of.
Oh, just because.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. I 100% agree with that. Yeah, we'll be going to the Tokyo Game Show soon, and they'll be breaking down all sorts of stereotypes.
Yatta!
The VR is amazingly awkward.
All right, Adam, you've got an interesting one. I really think yours is really interesting. Let's move on to this, and it's
Ghost Lion.
it's a lion made of ghosts. Or
This game is amazing. When I was a kid, I was about 12 years old, and I went to a place called Showcase Video in Missoula, Montana to rent Dragon Warrior 4. And they did not have it. So I said, well, how about Dragon Warrior 3? And they didn't have that either. And I said, well, what do you got? And the guy said, we've got Dragon Warrior for girls. I shit you not, that's exactly what he said. And the girl on the box right there is a work of art.
This is like a Siegfried and Roy poster almost.
Yeah.
Like if one of them like put on an even longer blonder wig. That's pretty much it.
And so I rented it. I mean, despite the pressures applied to a 12-year-old boy to not play a game with this girl on the cover, I rented it. And I played it for like 2 hours, and I kind of liked it, and then a friend came over with Battletoads, and we just played that all night. And I didn't think about it again for years until about, I don't know, 6 months ago. I've been working on the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection, which you can see right over that way after this.
That's right, it's on this floor.
Booth. Yeah, it's on this floor.
Shamelessly plug away.
Yeah. And I wanted, they had another game called Satomi Hakinden that I wanted to try to translate, and I realized that it was basically an indie RPG. And then I started thinking of this again. And so I took the time to play it, and my God, is it a magnificent train wreck. It's like, what if you could play as Rydia from Final Fantasy IV, but like no one else? And she had all the summons except none of the good ones. It was like, you could summon Sylph and that was it. And it's
actually true.
Yeah, when you lose your courage, you will become part of the darkness. So keep your courage. It's trying really hard to be a positive message for girls, but today it is unbelievably bad because she's not a great fighter, and in order to win the game, you basically have to summon men to fight for you. And it's so upsetting.
What? She looks like she jazzercises a lot, though.
I think, she totally does.
Look at that. Look at.
Yeah.
She's got a sword too. And just full of confidence.
Can we go back to the Ancient screenshot to see that glow up?
Thing is, though. Yeah, no, it's her. Same lady.
Yeah.
Clearly in the same universe. And the weird thing about the game is that the ghost lion barely factors into it at all. At the beginning of the game, they're like, "Hey, your parents went after the ghost lion. You should go too and find the ghost lion." And then you spend another like 8 hours just doing fetch quests. But the design of the levels is good. The art is actually pretty darn good. It's better than most of the Dragon Quest games, and I loved it. It was terrible. It was screamingly dumb, and it was so much fun.
So here's what I want to know: is it a lion that became a ghost, or a ghost that decided it wanted to be a lion?
I think it's more like the latter.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been 30 years. Do you want me to just spoil it?
Yeah. Spoiler alert.
I just got. Hold on. I just got this game.
Yeah, you just bought this.
I just bought a copy of this on
Cover
the
your
NES.
ears.
Like completely, like separately from this.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I guess. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna go. Just.
What happens? Do you find your parents in the ghost lion?
The second summon you get is this dude named Twana. He's a wizard, and then he leaves midway through the game only to show up at the end as the ghost lion. And you beat him, and he says, "Good thing you've got courage." And then you wake up and your parents are there, and they're like, "Where were you? Why were you running off?" And that's it. It just ends. And so the game is based on a Japanese movie that was made entirely in English with all English-speaking actors, and it was never released in English-speaking countries. And I want to find it, and I've spent the last couple of weeks just Googling for it, looking on everything, Pirate Bay, weird Chinese movie stealing sites. I can't find it, so if any of you can find which one?
Scarecrow Video.
Scarecrow Video?
might have it.
All right. Well, if anybody happens to find White Lion Densetsu Pyramido no Kanata ni, please hook me up.
That's spelled how you think it would be spelled, right?
That's spelled
PAX does not endorse pirating of any kind.
Yeah, if there's any Japanese people in the room, it's spelled exactly like they think it would be spelled. All the rest of you got to look it up.
And is that all right? Oh my God, Kelly! Yes. Let's do this.
It's time.
Kelly, what is your game?
Chill on EQ. Anyone familiar?
Yes.
Alright, so if you guys are not familiar with Chill on EQ, it is a shoot 'em up, we'll just call it shmup from now on.
God bless you.
Thank you. it's hard.
Those guys look happy.
Came out in the early 90s, and it is sort of, people love it because of how it looks. And that's exactly why I love it. I'm actually not really ashamed of anything. This game is probably the closest I can get to it, and it's not because of where I am now, but when I was younger and my friends imported weird Japanese games, this was one of them, and we all sort of took turns making fun of it for how it looked. I loved it though. And so this is a pretty interesting, this is part of like the advertisement for it, but it basically featured these incredibly detailed, basically naked men in Speedos as your enemies. They have these two characters that you can kind of see have holes cut out on the top of their head, and they shoot white projectiles. They are on a search for protein. It's a very bizarre game. It has an incredible soundtrack. It is kind of hard to play, but it is a visual masterpiece.
It was like Forgotten Worlds.
Yeah, actually that's one of my favorite games. If you guys aren't familiar, Forgotten Worlds is another shmup, came out on the Sega.
There's also a bunch of muscular bros with.
There are, yeah,
like
you
play as two just really muscular bros. Camo cargo pants, just flying through the air in a fantasy world together, living their best life.
This game is ripe with undertones on undertones, just layered on layered on layered. It's incredibly hard to find, and then rest in peace to all the emulator sites. But if you can find it, play it. It's a fantastic little romp through shmup history.
It's interesting because it's like totally the antithesis of like the game that I picked in a lot of ways.
It is.
Yeah, but I feel like the message is the same. Like just no body shame, just all positivity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then make sure you have good friends, brothers even. And, go on adventures with them.
Man, so were you ever made fun of for playing this or anything like that?
No, I think I think when I was probably I was 15 or 16, and so a bunch of 15 and 16-year-old kids in the late 90s, early 2000s, they were jokes, but they were heinously inappropriate, and I've come a long way since then. So,
now you enjoy it on a different level.
Now I sincerely love it. It's still like one of my. It's a long-running series. They made games clear into the PS2 era. Most of those games are pretty terrible, but try it out. See if you're ashamed of it.
Yeah, experiment a little, guys. There's nothing wrong. Nothing to be ashamed of. Dan, are you ready for this?
I think so.
Okay, here we go. Dan, you picked Legend of Zelda.
What? I know. What?
Enforcers immediately.
Yeah, where are our enforcers?
Okay,
I'm
is
on
this?
to all of you. If you go to the next slide, you'll see my true pick. There.
Got him.
I'm so scared.
You got me so
You
good.
monster.
This game is god awful. What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm not going to argue against that too much, but I do have a bit of a case to state. But I also say I brought Jason with me. If anyone wants to meet him after the panel, just come on up. He's right here.
He's a lovely man.
Yeah, he's a lovely man.
Misunderstood. Very misunderstood.
So this is Friday the 13th for the NES, not to be confused with the new Friday the 13th game. That's actually pretty good. I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's almost like the new one's an apology for this game.
I think so. Yeah.
But why do you like? Why?
So I will get, if you go to the next slide, a quick primer. So based on the film series, I'm sure everyone here knows what it is, but if you don't, it's a horror film series about a supernatural man in a hockey mask who kills a lot of people. This game in particular tells the story of camp counselors trying to rescue kids from the wrath of Jason Voorhees, which is pretty normal for a Friday the 13th thing. However, it takes creative liberties in the form of wolves, zombies, and deadly birds. I've seen all the movies. I have no recollection of any of those things in any of them. But this is supposed to be a sidequel, which is a new word for me. It's a sidequel. Rather than a sequel, it's a sidequel, an offshoot to Friday the 13th Part 7. So I guess this is technically canon.
It was happening parallel to that.
Yeah, apparently, I don't know how, well, I guess you can work, there's some, I don't know. The Jason lore is very confusing. And this game is just ripe with obtuse gameplay that you 100% need a guide to navigate through. I've heard people say they didn't need a guide and they're lying. Yeah, so there's a quick primer for you.
Have you beaten it?
I have not. I've come close. Come close.
The game can be beaten in 4 minutes, in under 4 minutes.
I'll have to watch that playthrough. Yeah, that's insane.
All right, next panel?
Yeah,
All
please.
right, here we go.
Yeah, so this was made by Atlas. I didn't know that until doing my research. You know, Jack Frost there.
Does that mean he's canonically a persona?
Oh,
Jason
absolutely.
Voorhees.
Yes. Yeah. And in fact, if you hit next over there, yeah. See? I did not make that. That's real.
Oh, yeah.
That's not Photoshopped.
No. You can,
Man, I don't want to see you rip off your mask.
It's his OC.
All
Go to
right.
this next panel, please.
All right.
Why people hated it? We've kind of already gotten into that. It seems like we're on the same page here, but yeah, it's just a deeply confusing game. When you start it says light all the fireplaces and all the cabins, which is a thing you should do, but that's not actually the end goal. The end goal is to destroy Jason. And once you do that, if you manage to do that, which apparently you can in 4 minutes, I'll have to see that to believe it.
Do you press A rapidly to destroy him in 4 minutes? Just really do it fast.
You're not far from it. You have to button mash. If you do manage to do it, there's no payoff. So the next slide will show you what I'm talking about. This is the ending you get if you beat the game. The worst part about this is that the way it's worded, the developers imply that they know the answer. They're just not going to tell you. So imagine buying this $60 game, beating it, and then the developer's like, oh, yeah, we're not going to tell you what happened.
I like how it just says end.
Yeah, there's yeah.
And that's the last screen. There are actually 2 more screens when you beat him the first 2 times that say, he's not dead yet, try again. And you're like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah, it is.
$50 well spent.
Maybe it's more like an end.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I played this when I was a kid, and I thought it was scary, and it was frustrating as hell, because a child cannot figure out how to play this game.
Oh, yeah. An adult really can't. You got it.
I think they knew that. Like, JLN knew that, like, they could get a product out, and like, back then the reviews took a lot longer to get out, and they were in magazines, you know, there was no internet. It's a really scary time. So, like, when you bought a game, you just had to eat it. It was terrible. There was nothing to do about it. You're just like, well, this sucks. I learned my lesson. Next game.
That's pretty much the entirety of my catalog from 20 years ago. Here's a terrible thing.
Games are sold on cover back in the days, but I'm guessing because like this game looks cool. They're like it's awful. It's just awful.
So now, if you go to the next slide, I'll tell you a little bit why I liked it.
Yes.
Pretty much the same reasons people don't. It is a very obtuse, confusing game, but playing it as a youngster, I just felt compelled to figure out what was going on. I tried so hard to reverse engineer it and get a sense of what this game was or why it was made.
And it drove you mad.
It did, it absolutely did. It was a weird little obsession I formed.
Is this where the Runner series came from?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can tell. They're very similar. It's deeply unforgiving. So the game will tell you when Jason's around and killing kids. What happens in that game. Once you get to him, he can just destroy you in 2 hits. And it takes you hundreds. I mean, not really, but it takes you so many hits to destroy him. And again, there is no payoff if you even manage to do that, which is, it honors the films, you know.
Yeah.
You like that?
Die.
You like that there's no payoff?
In a way I do. There's, well, you know.
Are you okay, man? Why do you punish yourself like this?
He respects the franchise.
Like, why do you like punishing yourself
He
like
looks so
this?
sweet and innocent.
Hold on, this is now turned into therapy hour for Dan. All right, Dan, do you want to lie down on the table and tell us about your childhood?
It's a film series where he is cryogenically frozen, sent into space 500 years later, and then is unfrozen on that ship and kills people.
That sleeping bag video.
Yeah, so it's a deeply silly series. So there's just something about it. And yeah, this last point is probably the most important one. Beggars can't be choosers. There are not a lot of horror games based on horror movies, so I kind of have to like this one. I have no choice.
Yeah. Did you like Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street?
I love it.
On the NES.
Yeah, that's actually good. That's a 4-player NES game, one of the few, and it's actually very fun to play with friends.
So are we going to go do that now?
I have it.
Awesome.
Yeah, we could.
It's like I have it on me right now.
Nintendo Party.
Never know about it.
All right, I think I'm ready for the next slide.
Oh my God.
So I have a fondness for the music. The free version of PowerPoint doesn't let you implement music. I tried. I think if you hit the next, there is a visual. Yeah, there you go. So just imagine like creepy chiptune music, and you'll kind of get the point. Yeah, I'm sorry. I tried to make that happen for you, but I couldn't spring for the full version of PowerPoint.
Well, at least you made the effort.
I did. The music goes da 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 da. So there you go. Just down on loop. is pretty much.
That sounds just like.
Just go to Spotify. I'm sure it's on Spotify.
It's a very eerie
right?
soundtrack, is what it is. It's very eerie.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, I read an interview with the composer. He was like, yeah, I don't really play games. I just really like movies, so I try to make something that was sort of like a movie soundtrack. And I guess he pulled it off. It's a little redundant, but I guess most music those days.
They're like on a 30-second loop, or maybe even
Yeah,
less.
yeah. Makes for a great ringtone, though.
All right. Is this it?
There's one more.
There's one more. Oh my goodness.
This game is the best game ever made.
I don't know that I offered up the best defense, but it is a personal defense of why I enjoy it. I don't expect everyone else to. In fact, I'd be surprised if they did, but I like this game. I'm sorry I made you sit through so many slides. Way too many slides for this game.
I gotta say, I love the campers count because it can mean different things now. Like, how many campers left on this map? 15. Okay, I gotta go find 15 people sitting in a crow's nest with a sniper rifle.
I know,
before
yeah.
I continue moving on.
The UI does not make a ton of sense. And also, I feel bad for Paul here. He has no idea what's about to happen.
He's about to have a very bad day.
You know, it's a game I rented back in the day, and I just returned it because it was really hard as crap. But now, having sat through this, I kind of want to go back and play it.
Yeah.
I brought it with me.
Oh, yeah. Let's just hook up a Nintendo. We got a big screen.
If anyone's got it unlocked,
I got a Nintendo on me somewhere.
There we go, yeah. It's in here somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, that's it.
We'll play later.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dan, for the very thorough explanation. All right, this next one, you're probably gonna boo. You're probably gonna want to shame Greg for this.
Greg.
That's why we're here.
Boo, Greg.
You want my pretty mask? You might need it.
Breath of the Wild, no, not
Are you ready, Greg? All right, get your arms up just in case people start throwing stuff at you. Brittany and Kelly, if you want to scoot away a little bit. All right, ready, Greg? What's your guilty pleasure?
Okay, it is, well, what do you think it is?
It's Call of Duty. Boo, Greg. Boo. Get off the stage.
You gotta admire your game with the community is just the shittiest community I've ever I literally had a GameStop, which is a rare occurrence, but I'm there, and it's for Black Ops 2, I think, or Advanced Warfare, and some guy just came up to me, he wasn't working there, and he just started to just trash Call of Duty, and I kid you not, for like 20 minutes, he followed me around the store, holding the game, not breaking eye contact, bought it, still bitched about it as he walked out of the store. I just think that the community is incredible, incredibly weird. I mean, because I don't know if you guys remember Activision, everyone was like, why are you doing this campaign? No one plays campaign, we don't care. And they're like, okay. So then they released the next game, where the hell's the campaign? 1 out of 10, there's no campaign, where's the story? It's just, they're such a weird community. And if you ever played online, it's rage-inducing when you think you're killing, you miss something, and you turn into that 9-year-old kid just screaming.
I like that you like it because of how much people complain, because you complain so much.
Yeah, the community speaks to me personally. I just think it's what do you play? COD? People roll their eyes, oh, COD, okay, yeah, whatever. It's just,
if you guys have a free couple of hours, after the panel, just ask Greg about Star Wars. You'll hear a lot of controversy.
Don't ask. It's super annoying though, because Shacknews is a shooter fan site. We started as a Quake fan site, and I'm like, okay, Greg likes shooters, right? He plays COD. Nope, he just plays COD, which is totally annoying. Come on, give another shooter a try. No, I play COD.
It's true, and
That's
something
the
me and
worst.
my wife
Come on.
actually play a lot, and we played all of them. We play all of them. We we have our favorites and we have our unfavorites. It's such a weird community. The community behind the game it's what makes it so interesting, and esports especially. I mean, if you go to the next slide, you can't play it, but it's literally adults. This is Evo, where someone throws a controller and gets up and doesn't shake hands. There have been fist fights over this stupid game, over a no scope, and then people flip the Xboxes and get fined, and it's just it's like watching children in a battle royale. In a 5v5, it's just ridiculous. It's a game, man. Even if it's competitive. I mean, even in MOBAs, people are calm and collective and don't flip out. But this game, they do. There was actually an
It's the Monster Energy drink of games.
I guess what it is. I mean, I think it's probably the MLG has such a hard time taking off because no parent wants their child to watch a 22-year-old man call a 17-year-old boy the F word. And it's just happened. And this has happened. They've been fined. Teams have been fined numerous times. You can Google it all over the place. And there was actually a really bad fight at COD XP event. You guys remember that COD XP they had in Santa Monica? There was a really bad fist fight over people demoing the game. And it's just like, I mean, like TVs with pro controllers with thrown backpacks with fists were swung. It's just, this is the gaming community. You know what I mean? And it's gotten a little better with Battle Royale, I mean, and MOBAs. I mean, yeah, the MOBAs are toxic, but they're not like look at that screenshot. I mean, like, I've never seen that at a MOBA event, but it happens all the time in Call of Duty events.
That's fair enough. By the way, kids, if you want to start lining up next to the mics, we're gonna have you reveal your own shames to us now that we've shared with you in just a second here. Greg, how long have you been playing Call of Duty, and do you still play it?
Yeah, I still play it.
You still play it?
Why don't you play better games?
Great.
It's not that games are better, they're just different, right? That's how I like to look at it. So if I'm going to play a first-person shooter, I'm going to play COD.
Why?
I'm gonna play COD.
There's better shooters.
Do you play all the other CODs, or just like one specific one?
Just all of them. Depends on what me and my wife want to play.
And are you as volatile as these other? I know you're not going to like be swearing all
I'll
the time.
spout out like, you know, the F-bomb every now and again if I'm mad that I missed something, you know. Or if we're being dominated, it's always a fun.
But you don't yell.
Do you want to talk about your E3?
You don't yell at all.
I am mic free. That's how ashamed I am. There's no mic. There's no mic attached to me.
Man.
My wife's the same way. Come on, get on bait flag.
Man.
God damn it.
just yelling, cussing up a storm like all the other 12-year-olds.
Also the fact that like, I don't care who tries, it's not a team game. Like it's just not, if you watch MLG, it's not a team game. Everyone's just doing their own thing. They may be covering a corner so you don't get flanked, but other than that, it's just, it should be a free-for-all game. It should just be that way. Which they're implementing in the fourth one.
Yeah.
Of course they are.
Blackout.
Well, what do you hope for the future of Call of Duty, Greg? Do you want it to keep being volatile, or?
No, I think that its time is coming on. It was on top for a long, long time. And like now it's, you know, then arena shooters came about. And after you guys had a chance to play Black Ops 4, it feels like Overwatch. I mean, like it is just, they pulled so much from Overwatch. The play of the game length is literally the exact timing of the Overwatch play of the game theme.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea of what they copied from that. But I think it's time for Battle Royale now. Like it's their turn now.
All right, well, thank you so much. Thank you to everyone on the panel for exposing your shame to all of these people. Thank you all for coming out. All right, we're gonna open it up to the floor now. Let's start over here. This young person was waiting patiently to shame themselves publicly. So go right ahead.
Hey, so I tend to go for a lot of achievements, so I did play Ghostly Adventures, which I think was a decent game for what it wanted to be.
See, there you go, you're not alone, Austin.
I'm not alone.
But a couple ones that I'd throw, firstly was Bullet Witch, if you got a chance.
Oh my God, Bullet Witch. No, that game is horrendous.
I enjoyed
Can you
it.
figure out how to get past the first level? Because I could not.
I did them all on all 5 difficulties, don't you worry. And then the other one is Duke Nukem Forever.
Duke Nukem Forever. Wow. Look at
I feel your pain.
We were just talking about how the next Duke Nukem game has to like have him be like totally like an old failure who can't get laid, and like he has like diseases that like he has to take pills for.
It would have been a better game.
Yeah, the sense of humor is
Be like God of War reboot.
Yeah, he has a kid,
Yeah.
like Kratos. Exactly.
He's got like 7
This kid's an asshole too. He plays
30 kids.
Fortnite.
It's
He's like, Dad, I need some more V-Bucks. He's like, God damn.
So what exactly? Like, did you play through all of Duke Forever?
Yeah, I played it and the DLC.
Wow.
The humor's terrible, but it's not bad gameplay.
It's not terrible, no.
I think my advice to you is maybe move to a seat in the back so you can run out of here before these guys can get to you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. Let's go over here and then you'll be next, good sir. All right, what's your name?
My name is Luke. And,
Luke, what are you ashamed of?
Well, it's kind of funny because when you were talking about the Barbie thing and saying that they had some games for the Game Boy, it just brought up like a memory of like this one Game Boy game for Barbie, and it was like this spy game as Barbie. So she was like an undercover spy. There was many games for
Yes, Barbie.
Yeah, it was like I was like really into it when I was younger. And the thing is, it was my sister's game, so I was like taking it. It was, and I was taking it and hiding in like my room and just like playing it and stuff, and just it's yeah.
Did you go on to a career in spying and espionage?
I'm not at liberty to say.
There you go.
All right. Like a car trip, and that was the only game that you brought with you because you forgot to bring the other games. You're like, oh, I'm stuck playing Barbie.
Oh man, I guess I have to play this stupid Barbie game again. Oh, this is so lame. I totally don't love it.
Yeah, that's the kind of attitude I had. I was like,
I'm gonna check it out.
I didn't like this, but if it's there,
All right. Well, thank you for sharing. Do you feel freer now? Charles Singletary.
What do you want, Charles?
Who's this?
Hey, Charles also works for Shacknews. Give him a round of applause.
You guys are rocking the shirt. You gotta rock the shirt logo.
Okay, so any Dreamcast fans here? Yeah! It's not Shenmue, awesome.
It should be.
So the game that I'm ashamed that I love is called Blue Stinger. I don't know if anyone remembers.
Yes.
Okay, so
You got one friend.
I'm actually impressed that one person in that game. But the very sad part about it is that it's a horror game. For the people up there on the panel, they know that I am a chicken when it comes to horror games.
Yes, he is.
So the reality of this, and you are all the first to know this, I've not finished the first level of that game. I've only played it probably more than 200 times. But I stopped at a certain point because I am too afraid to But I love the first part of the first level.
Charles, we're gonna get you a therapist to play through the rest of it with you. We'll have him come over.
Thank you for sharing.
We can all get together and hold your hand while you play it if it makes you feel better.
We've got you.
Yeah, Charles, anything we can do to help you get past that first level, we're here for you, buddy.
Like an extra life stretch goal for our streamers.
All right, we're gonna hop back over here. What's your name, good sir?
My name is George. I own several physical copies of E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari 2600, but I hold that game in nothing but contempt, so I don't think that really counts. I'm going to go with Final Fantasy Mystic Quest.
That's not a bad game, though.
The thing is, like, it depends on who you ask. So, for those of you who don't know, Squaresoft thought that Americans were imbeciles who couldn't handle role-playing games. They didn't give us Final Fantasies 2 or 3. When they said us 4, it was an easy mode. They actually stripped a lot of stuff out. 6, they just broke the evasion
To be fair,
stack.
I lived through the 80s. They weren't that off. You know? We've gotten smart.
Look at us now. I mean, you know,
We've come a long way.
yeah, we've come a long way, baby, just like the old Virginia Slims ads. So Mystic Quest is definitely an RPG with training wheels, but there are some people who are just will spit at the mouth with anger if you even suggest a Final Fantasy game. These people suck, but yeah, I've seen it.
That's fair.
It was definitely my least favorite Final Fantasy game just because it was so on rails. But it wasn't a bad game, though. I don't know anyone that's ashamed of that game.
What do you do now?
You recall.
They're the ones
I'd give it to 4-year-olds instead of Pac-Man Goes the Adventures. I'd give that to a 4-year-old.
Fair enough.
If you'll recall, Blake, about 3 years ago when we did the Guilty Pleasure Games panel, I talked about Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and the design in that game is actually really brilliant.
Yes.
It's just not good for Final Fantasy. And the music in that game, Ryuji Sasai's soundtrack, I listen to it like once every week. It's awesome.
The battle music?
Yeah, it's so good. I
good.
love Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, and anybody who doesn't like it can fight me.
It had like claw.
I'll hold him down.
Yeah.
Kelly, what's that? What were you saying?
I was saying it had a grappling hook, like claw thing, and that was the best part of the game.
Yep.
So, chocobo windmills too.
Chocobo anything is the best part of any Final Fantasy game. All right, let's move on. What was your name, good person?
So my name is Kelsey, and it would be Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy. God dang it. It would be Saints Row 4.
Oh, man. I'm a big fan of the Saints Row series,
so
and that is like the worst of the whole series.
How dare you? Any game that starts with Jane Austen narrating a gang's rise to fame is a game that's good in my book.
Here's the thing I loved about that game is you can have sex with everyone.
Yes. So like, I'm a huge BioWare fan. I totally get that. But like, being able to just go up to somebody and be like, hey, you, me, we're gonna have sex, yeah? And have them be like, yeah, okay.
I guess so, yeah.
Why not?
I banged that robot so much. Just because I could. I'm just waiting for the future.
Well, like all of them are really funny, and then like I played Saints Row all the way through, so like I had really intense feelings for Johnny Gat. So like being able to go and have this really like, okay, so like I know I'm not your dead girlfriend, but like maybe we can make this happen, and it's wonderful. I love it.
Nice.
That was my first Saints Row game. I kind of missed the Saints Row bandwagon, but I
my
liked
God.
more. I had a good time. It was very zany and funny, and I like that about a game.
Yeah,
You know-
they started out as a GTA clone, and then like we're just gonna go like way over the edge,
Right.
like just progressively get more crazy.
That's when I loved it. As GTA slowly moved away
Yeah.
from all the dick and fart jokes and got a little more serious. Not
Saints
that
Row picked it
GTA
up.
isn't over the top. Yeah, but Saints Row really is like, no, we're gonna keep going down here. Saints Row 2 is one of my all-time favorite games. Like, you can actually watch a video about me talking about it if you go to shacknews.com.
Plug it.
Yes, but yeah, I mean, out of all of the Saints Row games, that would be the one I would be most ashamed to admit that I enjoy. But I enjoy it. It's fun. It's just very overpowered.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it kind of like breaks the game a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
like
but
why do you even let me drive a car? I can fly.
Right.
Yeah.
Why do you have
Exactly.
cars in your game?
What was that?
Why do you have cars in the game?
Yeah, exactly. You just
move the
just to
cars.
break
Faster
them.
to fly.
Why do they have cars in Crackdown?
They have some cool weapons in that game too.
Yeah, like the DJ thing. That
Yeah,
like sprays the
there's
music.
like a drop the bass weapon, which
Yes.
is funny. I think that's a fun game. I enjoyed that game.
Still like the dildo bag.
Yes.
And as I went back to look at the others, I'm like, these got really dark. And I'm like, okay, I like 4.
You know they actually made those dildo bats? Like some of my friends got
Yeah.
them.
They were giving them out to press at an event
So
once.
floppy.
Yeah, it was really awkward.
Why was it awkward?
I guess they made Greg uncomfortable for some reason. All right.
You have to walk outside and you're carrying this big bat and you're like, okay, what do I do with this? And everyone's staring at you and you're like, okay. I give you some little kid, I don't know.
I want to try and get everyone's guilty
Wow.
pleasures. I want to help everybody here open up a little bit. So you're up next. What's your name?
Chloe,
All right. And what is the game you are most ashamed to admit that you love?
Fable 3.
Fable
Oh,
3.
Fable 3 is awesome!
Not a horrible game, but definitely missing a lot of stuff like every Peter Molyneux game ever. That guy's such a filthy liar.
It has a lot of flaws, but if you just pretend it's its own thing, it gets better.
My hippie wife gave me herpes in that game.
And that's why it's a great game.
That's yeah. But I can definitely see how it could be a guilty pleasure because out of all the Fable games, it definitely I felt was the most unpolished or unfinished of the series. But why do you love it so much?
It's mostly just memories of talking to my friends while playing Fable 3
Nice. Yeah.
and
The problem.
narrating what I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's funny how games have that effect on you. You know, like it may not be a good game, but like you remember playing it when you were younger. You're like, I remember all these good feelings. That nostalgia comes up.
I have a lot of weird nostalgia for Spanky's Quest for Super Nintendo because a friend of mine played it. We played it at my house for like 12 hours one day for no good reason, and I couldn't tell you what actually happens in it, but I know I love it. So I'm gonna go back and play it like today.
All right. So if you want to hang out with Adam and play Spanky's Quest, he'll be around in the lobby after the panel. You can just hang out and play Spanky's. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank
Great
you for
name,
sharing
too.
with us.
Thank you.
I'm going to just try and get through everyone. What's your name?
My name's Mariam.
Mario?
Mariam.
Mariam.
Yeah.
All right.
So my guilty pleasure game is Dota 2. Because, like you mentioned,
Okay.
like
Yeah, go on.
really shitty community. Yeah. Like you're correct that like MOBAs don't usually have that sort of thing at like professional events. But like I count myself lucky if I play a game and there's no slurs.
Yeah.
In chat. It's like and the game's all about tactics and communicating with your team.
It is.
Like, do I just like give myself a greater chance to lose? And so like I love that game. But whenever I tell someone, like usually they're either they're a good person and they look at me and they're like, why? Or they're like a shitty person and they look at me and they're like, yeah! And I'm like, no! Exactly. And it's something that I really love, and it's like I really don't like talking about it usually, because then people are like, oh yeah, man, me too. I love saying slurs all the time. And I'm like, please go away. So, yeah.
There were some great like compilations of just people losing their shit on in the voice chat, and it's hilarious. Like it just but it's hilarious. If you can sit through it, it's so cringy. It's amazing.
I think what's interesting about both of your picks is they're games where it's the community that you're ashamed of and not the game itself. You know, like the game is fine.
What is not a game if not for its community, right? I mean, like that's backing the game.
Online games.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm sorry. We got 4 more people. I want to get through all of y'all. So let's move down. What's your name?
Tim.
All right. And what are you ashamed of?
I'm ashamed of enjoying the Sega Genesis game McDonald's Treasureland Adventure.
Woo! No, those games were so good. All the McKids games.
But like Treasure was a really good publisher, and like all the music was really good, the level design was good. Like the story is about them going to the moon and then going home.
Where else would you go?
It was a treasure map.
It's to the moon and back. You know?
You didn't get a treasure map, and they're like, no, we're just gonna go home now. And but it's a soundtrack that sticks with me, and why I just remember it the most is like I had a Genesis for like the longest time. That and a Super Nintendo. I played Genesis a lot, and it just was another platformer that I could have access to.
I love the Cool Spot games myself.
The big red period.
Yes, and Yo Noid. Yo Noid is one of my all-time favorite games.
I played that one too.
Yeah, dude, it's fantastic. It's just that pizza eating tournament part that's like all random chance, like just pisses the hell out of me.
That's seriously why.
Yeah, that's the one problem with Yo Noid.
All the time.
I feel your pain on the Sega too, because I missed that SNES bandwagon because I fell prey to marketing, and there were some great gems on the Genesis, but most of them were pretty bad. There weren't a lot of games on the Genesis that were good.
But it's weird how many like product placement games are actually really good, like the Burger King games for the Xbox.
Excellent.
Those are all excellent
game.
Those are well developed. Well, thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Those are actually really fun games. I don't think you should be too ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, don't be too ashamed of that.
All right. All right. What's your name?
My name is Erin.
And what are you ashamed of, video game wise? You don't have to get too deep. Just video games.
We need to do like an AA meeting. I feel like
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a lot
Erin and
of,
I'm ashamed of Sega Genesis.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but a game that I'm ashamed to love is actually League of Legends.
Really?
Yes, another shitty community, but a good game.
Shady community, good game. For someone who doesn't understand strategy, it sucks, but I love playing it.
Man, why do you kids like MOBAs?
Because it's entertaining, man. You gotta admit it's entertaining to like deal with someone who's raging in the chat. It's just like this guy died once and he's just flipping out.
It's like I like playing video games with my friends. It's like let's all have fun and laugh and play and camaraderie. And you're like, F this, F that, F you, F everybody.
GG. We're 30 seconds in. What do you
All right, weirdos.
QQ.
I'm sorry you're a freak of nature, but no, I'm kidding. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Patrick, and my favorite Sonic the Hedgehog games are the 3D ones.
Just get going.
The best ones are Sonic Adventure because you get to raise the chows. Whenever a new one is coming out, Sega's like, we're getting back to the basics. There's more like 2D Sonic. And I'm like, man, I just want to fly around looking for Master Emerald pieces and raise some chow. Like, give me that.
Thank you. I'm not the only one. I'm not alone.
The soundtracks were awesome for those games as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
City Escape.
So that means he also loves the Xbox 360 Sonic. Correct?
All right.
It was okay.
All right. You guys are going to be our last two. What's your name?
Sebastian.
All right. And what are you ashamed of?
I think it was like Crash Bandicoot Wrath of Cortex or something.
Oh, the third.
Oh, there's nothing wrong with that.
Or maybe like even having like I don't know. It's not something I'm too ashamed of, but I know for like that one didn't do so well. I think it didn't look so great, but I remember having a whole bunch of fun as a child and whatnot.
Well, it was definitely better than Crash Team Racing. I will tell you that much.
It's controversial. There's also a point when you're growing up where people looked at those, where kids looked at those as baby games. You're like, oh, it's play Medal of Honor, don't play Crash. You know what I mean? So like I can see that a little bit too.
Yeah, like by the third Crash Bandicoot game, no one cared about Crash Bandicoot, including the people. Like it felt like the people making it didn't care either, because there's so many levels that were not finished for that game that like things were left incomplete. So.
Was that Naughty Dog?
That was Naughty Dog.
Oh man.
That was not Naughty Dog.
It was not Naughty Dog.
That was Naughty Dog. But now now you can go out and buy the whole bundle and it's all finished and they added more levels. So, if you felt like revisiting your childhood and maybe, working through those issues with Crash Bandicoot.
Brought to you by Activision.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I was talking about the fourth one, the one for like the GameCube or...
Oh my god, there was a fourth one?
Yeah, that's the one. I mean, there's
that is sad.
I know.
You ever heard of Crash Bandicoot Goes to Hawaii? That's the one that...
What? I have no idea. How did you know this, Greg?
I think then after that there were like two more. There was like...
That's not a good.
Man, you're like the foremost expert on Crash Bandicoot games. You're stumping us. We all work in the video game industry, man. Dude, you gotta write a book.
I was hoping he'd say Team Fortress 2. I'm ashamed of Team Fortress 2 as a character from Team Fortress 2.
That's great cosplay.
It is great cosplay.
No, you should never be ashamed of your Team Fortress love or your awesome cosplay. That's All right. And last but not least, I'm sorry, this is going to be the last one, but go ahead, sir. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Alex.
So,
is it Overwatch?
Wow, you really beat me to it there, yeah. So, it was just a couple days ago, I was playing.
You're good.
Yeah,
we're on.
Hello? Yeah.
Hello.
So I was playing a game. I am a Roadhog main. I have over 200 hours on him. And as much as the game makes me salty of the counters and stuff, I do play him very well in some matches, and I carry my team most of the time with always all 4 golds, including healing. But the number one thing that I like about it is that sometimes you do get those good games where you communicate with your team, everyone switches picks, and then you won at the very close last second because you worked together. And I do love that about it. One thing that I will say about it was, as a Roadhog, I hate CCs. So one match I played, the other team had a Widow, a Moira, a Brigitte, May, another Hog, and an Orisa. So I literally would win the fight. I'd take out 3 of them. I would die, and then my team would still lose. They had all 5 of them.
Man,
that's because it's a team game.
Are you telling me you're ashamed of yourself? Is that?
I'm saying I'm ashamed that I keep going back to the game. I'm the most counterable hero right now. Everything practically counters me.
So you're ashamed of your team.
Yeah, exactly.
But he's proud of himself for being better than his team.
Let's start out being heartwarming.
I think you're just bragging right now.
Where do we arrive from here?
All right. All right, and that's going to wrap it up, guys. Thank you so much for coming to our panel today. Let's give it up for our amazing guest, Kelly. Kelly, where can people check your shit out?
I'm at VeersWin on Twitter and everything else in the universe. So.
All right, and Greg Burke.
At Shacknews, at GregBurke85, shacknews.com. Plug, right?
Yeah, sure.
Do I get my money now?
No.
All right, Brittany, where can folks follow you?
I'm at Shacknews, but I'm also literally everywhere on the internet. At Molotov Cupcake, like the cocktail, or cock teas if you prefer. And BrittanyVincent.com. TTANY, the correct way to spell the name.
Yeah, I'm at TechnoSucks on Twitter.
That's what he's ashamed of music-wise.
I actually love techno, but I just think it's funny. Yeah, Shacknews everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, we're on. We have our own website.
We're everywhere.
He has a very cute dog.
My dog is adorable.
Yes, so follow him just for the dog.
If you want cute pictures of Pomeranians, you go to shacknews.com.
That's his source for Pomeranian news.
Yep.
And I'm at the Adam Rippon on Twitter, because the other Adam Rippon is not the Adam Rippon, although I don't tweet much anymore. And you should go check out the SNK 40th Anniversary Collection right over there. You should all go at the same time and really freak them out. They'll just be like, what the fuck, Ben? Close the door. Get the thing in front of the door.
Where can people buy Dragon Fantasy? Like,
Oh, yeah. Well, we're doing a limited run of Book 1 pretty soon on Vita and PS4. It's going to be like the last Vita game ever, I think. So that's a thing.
What's a Vita? Limited run game.
There'll still be some JRPGs. There'll still be some JRPGs coming out on it.
Yeah. Well, that's one of these.
All right, and then Dan?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Dant, DANT_Rambo, spelled just like the movie.
That's your real name.
That is my real name.
His real name.
So don't ask him about it.
Yeah, there's your answer. That is
All
my
right,
name.
and Runner 3 is out right now?
Yes, it is out on Switch and Steam, coming soon elsewhere.
And it's fun as hell if you haven't played it, if you like runners and you like Ruben.
Oh, stop it.
It got a 9 out of 10 on Shacknews.
You're too kind.
Yeah.
Thank you for that review.
Yeah, you can go read the review on Shacknews.com, then buy the game in that order. I'm Blake Morse. I also work at Shacknews.com. You can follow me at Prof Robot on Twitter, like Professor and then Robot. And go listen to my music at cartoonviolencemusic.com. And that's about it. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great rest of the PAX.